Your mindset is the most important part of becoming a servant. Service begins in your mind. And to begin with your mind, Satan tends to attack what area that you will be speaking on that night. And since being a servant, being the mind, Satan has been trying to attack my mind. And so first of all, let's identify for our guests, our visitors. This quarter, the pastor has elected that we're on the topic of servanthood, becoming servants. He preached Sunday after Sunday about being a servant. During our fellowships, we talked about the characteristics of servants. And tonight, I just want to talk about having the mind of a servant. All right, let's define what a servant is. A servant is one who serves, one who performs a servant. Throughout the Bible, we can identify with many servants in the Bible. Joseph was identified as a servant. Paul was identified himself as a servant. James identified himself as a bond servant. Jesus was also a servant. Jesus was a servant. He was a servant to God. He had a purpose to fulfill here on earth, and God gave him that task. And so in order for him to do that task, he had to do it in an order that would be pleasing to God. So as Jesus was being a servant, it says in the word that let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. So if Jesus had that mindset of being a servant, we should also. If Jesus had that same mindset, so in order to be a servant, you must know who you are. I pose a question to you. Who are you? You are what you think about. All right? Proverbs 23:7 says, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. So what this entails me, and I said, God, how is what I think is who I am? And God shared this with me. He said, your thoughts becomes your words. Your words becomes your actions. Your actions becomes your character. And your character is who you are. That's how people identify you, as your character, your personality. So if all of this is based on what I think, that weighs a lot. That weighs a lot. Because if who I am is depicted on what I think, so what are you thinking about? Let's go to Proverbs 16:1. I see my exit already. I see my exit. The preparation of the heart belongs to man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. The preparation here are your plans, your thoughts, and your ideals. The heart here is your mind. Everybody knows that for your spiritual man, your mind is the heart. So when you see heart in this next text, it's talking about your mind. And the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. Nothing goes by without the Lord having the final say-so in it. Your thoughts are what you think. And I was reading The Best Life Now. And Joel Osteen said, your thoughts are your own. Satan has no dealings with it, and God doesn't have any dealings with it. Because whatever you think is on your own. Nobody can make you think about anything. So if you look at it from this standpoint, God won't touch your thoughts. So it's up to you to gather your thoughts. All right? You don't have to think, we don't think much about what we think about. If you really think about it, we don't really think about our own thoughts. We think about our actions, our character, and what we have, but not when it comes to our mind. And in order to be that servant of God, we have to really guard our minds. I think one of the weapons that we put on, one of the armors that we put on is the helmet of salvation. And that is to guard our minds. That is to keep our thoughts upon those things that are true, holy, pure, acceptable, those things that are pleasing to God. And so the Bible tells us that we also must give an account for every idle word and every idle thought that we think. Man, that set me in line right there. You know, I used to watch my actions and, you know, I used to have it down. But God really spoke to me one day. He said, Jesse, your servanthood is fine. You work hard for the church. You do this, you do that. But your mind ain't together. Your mind don't line up with your actions. And so I one day I just said every thought that I thought about, I was going to just jot it down, and if it wasn't of God, I was just going to put it under His authority, because He said those things we can cast them and put it under the authority of Jesus Christ. And so I was sitting there thinking, and man, I was tired that day. Doc, I said, God, I need some help. I really did. I was like, man, I really need some help in this. And so, and I had to change my prayer. I said, God, okay, I need you to help me in this particular area. And He said, and that's where many of us as Christians fall as being servants, because we don't think about it. We're always looking for that self-glory and how we may please the people. But what it really boils down to is how you please God. So your character is based upon your thoughts. So what are you thinking about? If you're thinking about sex all the time, you most likely become promiscuous. If you're thinking about getting money or being rich, you would do anything just to get that dollar. You would compromise and shortcut and go through shortcuts in order to obtain that possession. But the Bible also tells us that we cannot serve two gods. Either you will love one or hate the other. Proverbs 16:2 says, all the ways of man is clean to his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth upon the spirit. All the ways of man, his own ways is pleasing to him. Anything that satisfies the flesh is pleasing to man. But the Lord weigheth